Hello. Right, we've got the sine rule this time. So as per usual, we're going to make some notes on the learning objectives, heading and keywords, dates in Welsh. So hit pause, make some notes. When you're ready, we'll move on to the starter. Okay, here's your starter. I want you to have a go at all three questions. Once you're done, hit pause, and when you're ready to have a look at the solutions, hit play again. No calculators, by the way, no calculators. Okay, question one says estimate, so that's what we're going to do. Always read the question. Estimate. I'm not using a calculator, so we're going to round everything to one significant figure. Makes it much easier. 58, we can round to 60. 48, we can round to 50, one significant figure. And this is the one that causes the most problems, 0.187, we can round to one significant figure. The 8 affects the 1, so it becomes 0.2. 60 times 50, do the number, 6 times 5 is 30, and we've got two zeros to add on, divided by 0.2. Now 0.2 as a fraction is a fifth. So again, two ways of doing this. You can right, let's do it as a decimal first. So we don't like to divide by decimal, so we times the bottom by 10, times the top by 10. That gives us 30,000 divided by 2, and 2 goes into 30 15 times, so 15,000. Or we could have said it's 3,000 divided by a fifth. If we're dividing by a fraction, we turn it into a multiplication by flipping the fraction, so 3,000 times 5 over 1 or times 5, same answer. So either method, whichever one you want to use. If you can spot the fraction, it might make it easier. If not, just turn the decimal into a number by multiplying. But remember, you have to times the top and the bottom by the same number. Question 2. Find the volume of the cylinder. So the volume is the area of the front face multiplied by the length. So the area of the circle times the length. The area of a circle is given by pi r squared, and we're multiplying that by the length, or in this case, or the height of the cylinder. So pi r squared h. We say in terms of pi, so we leave pi alone. Pi times diameter is 8, so the radius is going to be half of that. So 4 squared times the height, which is 10. 4 squared is 16 times 10, so 160 pi. And that's job done. No calculators, we leave it as it is. Question 3, P is equal to 2.5 S minus 0.75 M minus 220. S, number of toys. M, number of toys manufactured. S is number of toys sold, manufactured, and the profit is 205 when 200 toys were sold. So if we put the numbers in the equation, so 205 pounds is profit is equal to 2.5 times S, number of toys that were sold, times 200, minus 0.75 M is what we're trying to find, minus 220. Now then, 205 is equal to 2.5 times 200 with the numbers. 2.5 times 2, or double 2.5, is 5. So 500 minus 0.75 M minus 220. If I take the 0.75m to the left hand side and bring the 205 here, 0.75 is negative on this side, so on the other side it's going to be 0.75m. It's going to be positive, is equal to 500 minus a 220, and this is 205 positive, so when it crosses the equal sign it becomes minus 205. So that means we've got 0.75m is equal to 500 minus 225 is 75. So m on its own is going to be 75 divided by 0.75. Don't like to divide by decimals, so we multiply the bottom by 100, but multiply the top by 100. So it's going to be 7,500 divided by 75. 75 goes here one time, it's 75, 100. So m equals 100. Okay, so if you got all three right, and you can give them ticks then in green pen. If you made any mistakes or any errors, then write the correction out in full in green pen, okay, to help that muscle memory. So if you need to, hit pause, and when you're ready to move on, hit play again. So today we're looking at the sine rule, and the sine rule, we use it when we can't use the cosine rule. Now the cosine rule from the last couple of lessons, a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos a. We can use it in this instance here, where you've got two sides and the angle that's in between them, called the included angle, or when you know three sides and you want to find any one of the angles. Now sometimes we've got different information. Here we've got two sides, but it's not the included angle, so we have to use the sine rule. Or here we've got two angles and a side. So for these type of questions, this one here and this one, you can't use the cosine rule, so we use the sine rule. And the sine rule, have a quick look at that now, is given by, sine rule is given by a over sine a equals b over sine b, which is equal to c over sine c. Now, this is all dependent on the labeling of your triangle. So, if we draw a triangle, call this angle A, this angle B, and this angle C. The sides opposite them, we use the lettering that's opposite, but small case, so that's A. The side opposite B is small b, and the side opposite C is lowercase c. And so the way this works then is A over sine of the angle A is equal to B over sine B. So B over sine B. You only need to use two of them at a time. It's equivalent to C over sine C as well, but you're only using two at a time. I tend to use just these letters to help me each time. We're looking at proportionality, so we're just going to use these four terms. So hit pause, make some notes, and when you're ready, hit play again. So we're going to look at a couple of examples and work them out. So we've got three examples here. Question one, we're looking for the missing side. We've got two angles on the missing side. So if we look at this triangle here, I'm going to label it. I'm looking for that side there, A, so I'm going to call this angle here A, and I know this angle, B, I'm going to call this side here B. So always write the formula out because it helps us to remember. A over sine A is equal to B over sine B. So we say A is what we're looking for, so A over sine 45 is equal to B 5.1 divided by the angle sine of 60. Now if I rearrange that, I can bring this sine 45 up to the top here. So that's going to give me A is equal to 5.1 times, because that's moved up on the other side, it's divide on this side, so multiply on that side, times sine 45 divided by sine 60. Now, easiest way is just to put that in your calculator as a fraction. So I want you to do that now. Hit pause, get an answer for A, don't forget the units, and then hit play again to check if you've got the right answer. Hopefully you got A equals 4.2. Whoops. That's better. A equals 4.2 centimeters. Let's have a look at question 2. This time I'm looking for M. So I tell you what, I'm going to call the angle opposite here. Let's call this side M equals A. This angle capital A. And then I know these two. So I'll call this B. And the side opposite it, small b. So we use our formula again. A over sine A is equal to B over sine B. So A is equal to M, so we can call that M divided by sine of 63 is equal to B, 12.7, divided by sine of 85, which is B. Rearranging, that sine can go up to the top there, so M is going to be equal to 12.7 times sine 63 divided by sine 85. Again, you're going to plug that in your calculator for me. Hit pause once you've worked it out. Hit play again to check if you got the right answer. And you should have 11.4 centimeters. What I want you to do now on question 3 is hit pause and have a go at question 3, and then hit play, and you can go through the solution then. So hit pause, go. Right, come back to labeling. Always about labeling. If we label it correctly, then we'll be fine. So I'm going to call P A because we're looking for A, and I know this angle here, which is B, and opposite it is small b. So I use my formula. Always write the formula. A over sine A is equal to B over sine B. A is P over sine of 145 degrees is equal to 45 divided by sine 15. So this goes up the escalator next to the 45. So P is equal to 45 times sine 145 divided by sine 15. That gives us an answer of 99.7 meters to 1 decimal place. So hopefully you've got those. What I want you to do now is hit pause, make some notes if you haven't done so. If you have done so, that's great. And then we're going to move on to looking at some slightly different questions. So in this one we're looking for a missing side. We've got two angles on the missing side. Okay. Right, this time we're looking for a missing angle. We're getting two sides and an angle. So again, it's all about labeling. So I'm looking for this angle here, which I'm going to call A. Oops. That's better. A. So that's going to be small a for the side. So I'm going to call angle B. So I'm going to call small b there. So I can write A over sine A is equal to B over sine B. Now it's all about rearranging. So let's put what we know into the equation. Right. So we're going to put what we know into this equation. So A is 4.2. 4.2 over sine of x, which we're looking for, is equal to B, 5.1, divided by sine of 60. Now we're going to have to rearrange, but it's slightly different, so you've got to be very careful. I tell you what, for the first one we'll do it in two stages. We'll bring this sine x up the escalator. So it's divided on this side, it's going to be multiplied on that side. It'll be next to the 5.1. So that leaves us with 4.2 is equal to 5.1 times sine x over sine 60. But I want to get that sine x on its own. So that means I can take the sine of 60 up on the other side and then bring the 5.1 down on the other side underneath. So you end up with 4.2 times sine of 60 divided by 5.1. Now that gives us sine x. If I plug that in my calculator, I'm going to get, tell you what, I want you to do that. See if you come up with the same solution as me. You should have 0.7131. 0.7131 equals sine x, but that's sine x, so x is going to be equal to sine to the minus 1 of 0.7131, which would be equal to shift sine of answer, and it should give you 45.5 degrees. Okay, let's have a go at the second question, question 2. Again, we've got to think about our labeling of the diagram. So I'm looking for y. I'm going to call that A, and that's going to be small a. I know that, and I know that angle is B. So using the formula, A over sine A is equal to B over sine B. So let's put our knowns in there. Okay, A is 12.7 divided by sine of y is equal to B, 11.4 divided by sine of B, or sine 63. So the sine y comes up on this side. At the same time, the sine 63 goes up there and 11.4 goes down the bottom. So what I'm going to do in one step, what I did in, I think it's 3 on the other side. So it's 12.7 times the sine 63 comes up on this side and 11.4 goes down. And that's equal to the sine y that goes up on the other side. So it's all about rearranging. You'll need to take your time practicing this. You just got to look, sine y is on the bottom here. I need to end up on its own, so it has to go on the other side up. It's divide here, goes up to the other side times. So I plug all this into my calculator to get sine y, and then I use the inverse to find what the angle is. So hit pause when you're ready to check your answer with me. hit play again. You should have 0.9926 equals sine y. So y, capital Y, is equal to sine to the minus 1 of 0.9926. And you can, in your calculator then, you can do shift sine of answer, and you should have 83.03 degrees to 2 decimal places. So we've got 83.03 degrees. Good. So your turn. I want you to have a go at question 3. So hit pause. When you're ready to go through the solution with me, hit play again. Okay, so for question number 3, again, key is labeling. So we're looking for Z. Let's call that A. And this is going to be small a. We know this angle here. Call it B. And the side opposite it's small b. So that leaves us with A over sine A. Always write the formula. Is equal to B over sine B. So that's 45 divided by sine Z is equal to 99.7 divided by sine of 145. So moving it along. I think I'll put my solutions here now so I can double up. Sine of 145 comes up next to 45, so it'll be 45 times sine of 145 divided by the 99.7 goes down under 45, so 99.7, and that's going to be equal to sine of Z. So my calculator, I'm going to put 45 sine 145, close the brackets, then I can hit the fraction button, and underneath I'm going to divide by 99.7. That gives me 0.2589. That's 0.2589 equals sine Z. That means Z equals sine to the minus 1 of 0.2589. When I work that out on my calculator, that implies that Z is equal to shift sine to the minus 1 of answer on my calculator, close brackets. I get 15 degrees. So Z is equal to 15 degrees. Okay. So those are 3 questions. Hit pause, make some notes, and then you can attempt the questions then that are coming up. Okay. So we've got 2 sections to complete. Section A, we got 16 questions here. So find all the missing sizes in these diagrams. Answer to 1 decimal place. And so hit pause and off you go. Once you're done, you've got to find the missing angles this time to 1 decimal place. Okay, good luck.